welcome back to Graceful Aging by Design. So today in this episode, we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of Corina and Frank in the seat of hosting, I will be actually hosting and asking you guys questions. So when we launched our channel, so we said we're real estate consultants, and today we're going to go behind the scene to look at some specializations within our field, especially in this case for our, which is fitting for our channel, is the senior real estate specialist. So you guys actually help families find the right home as they transition into the next stage of their life. And Corina, so I know both of you actually have that designation. So I just want to know, for those out there who don't know what basically what senior real estate specialist is, Corina, what do you guys do? Like, why is that title important for seniors?
So really, realtors can specialize in many different things. Some people can specialize geographically, like they could just work downtown or work in the Fraser Valley, whatever they want to do, or they can specialize in this a specific type of product, like just working with condos or resort communities or whatever that is. So for myself, working with seniors as a senior real estate specialist was really more about focusing on a very specific demographic. So focusing on people who are 55 plus, and we can talk about that a little bit more. So there's not all seniors are the same. Obviously, there are seniors that are still pretty young, vibrant, active, and just about to retire. And then there's also the seniors maybe who have, due to age and health issues, then they're slowing down and have a different way of looking for what their next home looks like. So it really, for me, getting the certification through the National Association of Realtors was really about getting the knowledge and the skill of helping those families move in during the transition of later years. So I found that it's been really helpful for me. What do you think, Frank?
For me, before I get into this field, I was in the financial industries. So at that time, my understanding of seniors is like how to help them to plan for retirement, help them to get sort of legal advice like power attorney and the wills. Through senior real estate destinations, I'd be able to understand more about their mentalities and how to communicate more patiently and more empathically to know like how to comfort them and understand why do they think in certain way. Yeah. And that's most important, my getaway from getting the destinations.
So when you guys were going through the certification process, what kind of thing is kind of taught at that course that's outside of what we've already learned perhaps in our real estate training? And
So in general, they go through, for example, the different emotions someone goes through if they're an empty nester or if they're really trying to downsize, for example, from a home that they lived in, for a long time. There's also financial issues that happen around that time, perhaps a death of a spouse. So all those kind of things, being aware of the different situations that a senior, a client in those later years might be facing. The nice thing, actually, I'm just going to say, there is a course that is just based 100% Canadian, because the NAR is based in the US. So you can also get Canadian content and more specific focus on seniors and what you need to know. It's called Lifestyle 55 Plus program. And you can, realtors, if they want to take that, they can know that they have 100% Canadian content. But it really, for me, it was just learning more about what to expect when working with seniors and their families in their later years.
At the same time, for the course, they will explain to us like what's independent livings, what's assisted livings, and those how to categorize them. And those seniors have different needs, so we can have better understanding. Like, okay, for this seniors, it may categorize into this needs, and they'll be able to help them to transit into that particular facilities. So that's how we can help. And also at the same time, we know that individuals at their home, it may not be the best suitable environment for them. They may fall, they may not have another caretaker to help them. Then we understand, okay, maybe that's something it's important for them to understand, okay, maybe we should transit them into particular facilities.
And I think it's also having a deeper understanding of the different professionals who we can offer to help work with the seniors, whether it's like financial planners or organizers, right? Or home care companies to come and help them with their different needs. So you're kind of like a problem solver in a way, depending on what their situation is like. Yeah.
So you guys are essentially not just real estate consultant, but sort of like consultant into the next stage of their life, because once you have that training, you can you when you connect with other professions, you understand whether or not this person know the particulars that is needed by the seniors and can help them in that way. Is that right?
Exactly. We can run into situations where we feel that we need to refer them to a lawyer, for example, an estate lawyer, if they don't have their will or they don't have their power of attorney, someone to represent them if they're not able to. So all those kind of things, just having that knowledge of what's important.
Yeah, and sometimes some seniors may complain, oh, we have some knee problems, we may need some help or support. Then we say, okay, we have those. For example, you can be able to install a lift. Maybe that's one of the solutions. So we can be able to guide them in that sense and to having them connect to the right resources.
And I feel like the more you work with the population, the more you see their needs, and then the more you try to gather resources for them as well. So I think that's the case for both of you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know like people are living longer and longer now, right? And senior, or like for the certification, basically it says, or the designation says, like you guys are designated to help people 50 and plus. But that's a very long range.
Yep.
Yeah. So Frank, so for people who's like 50, empty nesters, what are they looking for really?
Well, I think a lot of people, when they are in that age, they are looking for freedom. So they don't need to take care of their kids. They want to travel. They want to enjoy their life. They may have a different hobby they want to pursue. So that's one of their idea. Some of the idea is that, I may want to have a second career, or they may need to, okay, I have a senior parents as well. I need to consider like how I am be able to care for them. That's one of their consideration. Or sometimes, especially as current generations, a lot of adults, kids still coming back to home. So that's something we need to consider that, okay, maybe they need a multi-generational home to be able to help them to put them under one roof and reestablish that family connections.
So was that part of you guys' training as well, to kind of look into that particular population?
So we do have that kind of explanation that those are important. And then therefore, like if they want to care for seniors, then they want to, for example, okay, prevent the parents get falls. So maybe there's some protections we may need. We may need to alter or renovate some parts in order to safely transit their parents into that home. So that's something we can have some ideas, or we can bring the right resource or right advisors to help them to say, okay, this is maybe more suitable for their parents or us empty nesters parents.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It doesn't matter, like the training is so broad that it not only helps older people, but then help the younger generation to understand their needs so they can kind of renovate or make their home fit for multiple generations. Yeah. And then again, like prepare themselves for the future, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then so if, let's say we pass that stage, empty nesters, and then they are the ones that's getting older, we're going like actual retirees. Yes. So Corina, you've worked with a lot of them. What challenges do they face?
But basically, as you start getting older into your 80s and up, basically, things start to slow down, perhaps. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people who can still be active, but sometimes health issues come up. your health might decline. Perhaps stairs start to get a little bit harder for you to go up and down. Maybe the yard work, all the different things in maintaining a home gets a lot harder. So I think a lot of the seniors that I worked with recently actually are needing to sell their home, their large home that they've been there for many, many years, and looking to find a home that makes sense, whether that means just a condo, right? A smaller condo on one level now, or it could mean going into a retirement community. And what that looks like, there's different kinds as well. So helping them navigate through all the different kinds of retirement communities and also the different levels of care that they might need down the road. So it's really looking for their home that fits their current needs now and then into the future as well.
I think there's a lot of things when we look at a house we don't really consider. Like for regular people that's buying a house, we look at basically the layout and things like that. But for seniors, they might be looking for things that's like doorknobs and levers. And those are different. And like whether or not, like I know a lot of seniors, or even I have a buyer that wants to move the dad together. So she's looking for, even if it's 2 level, she's looking for something that has bedroom on the first ground level. And then so everything is there for the parent. Yeah.
A lot of them are also looking for example, a walk-in shower or a shower that doesn't have, what would you call that? Like a ledge or a transition that you have to cross, right? So they'll remove the tub and have a walk-in shower. So then if the person now maybe has to sit while they're taking a shower, right, or sit on a bench, then it's a lot easier to get in and out of the bath versus trying to a bathtub, which might be a little bit more dangerous for them. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about fall prevention, which is kind of like the number one reason why someone ends up in hospital and ends up leaving their home is because of that. So trying to, that's a really big thing, especially with seniors who are 70, 80 plus. Yeah.
And as people getting up in age, if sometimes tragic things happen, their partner pass away, as much as they want to age in place, it's not always the best option for them. So, so you see a lot of people actually want to move into a sort of like either supportive housing, independent living, or whichever, just so then they can have more social interaction with other people.
Okay. I don't know if you want to take this, Frank, because I know we've had experience of working within a retirement community that's independent living, but also has all the other different services there.
Yeah. So the people who are interested into independent living, not only because of the health, they always have a companion. Also, they don't want to be the burden of their family because the caretakers take a lot of time. So have someone be on site, be able to cater for individual seniors' needs, health-wise, and and also get notified when any one of them falls. I think that's very important, and it's hard for family to travel 30 minutes once they receive an alarm and they call the ambulance, and then some golden time will be passed already. But inside the independent living or supported facilities, they have the peace of mind. And I think for family, that's the most important things, to have a peace of mind in those kind of facilities. Yeah.
And independent living is essentially just sort of like a co-housing-ish almost community where people have, what is the level of care given at independent
So
living?
independent is exactly what it means. So the people who live there can take care of their, activities of daily living, right? They can bathe themselves, feed themselves. They're okay with medication, and they're pretty active. They come into the community for the socialization aspect, but also for the maybe they don't want to cook anymore. And so they get to have a package where their meals are prepared for them. And they don't want to do housekeeping. They just want to either travel or do the activities during the day. So that's basically independent living. And there are different kinds. Like we're involved right now in a community where you can actually buy like a condo within a retirement community. So you can own. But the majority of them, I would say, is rent. So you would rent, and that would include your monthly package that includes the food, all the
transport.
Yes.
And sometimes they have come in and to help the seniors to trim their hairs, do the nail salons, because sometimes even when we think it's easy to trim our nails, for seniors sometimes it's very challenging.
And foot care, that's
cares.
very challenging too.
Yeah.
So they have people who come in to do that. They have, like home care. So there's independent living, and then the next stage would be assisted living. So that's where sometimes people need a little bit of care during the day, maybe getting dressed, maybe getting bathed. So you pay for that extra care that you get. And then down the road, there is what they call either long-term care, complex care. And there, in the past, they actually used to be different communities, different buildings, but they're now starting to build them together. They call them campus of care or continuum of care, where you go, it's basically you can age in place there, where you go from independent living, assisted living, and long-term care.
Yeah, because our health is deteriorates, it changes. So,
Yeah.
But for seniors, it's hard to adjust some new environment. They may feel scared, they may feel fear, and then they may not know the new people. They want to get familiar with the same faces. So that's very important, and that's why trending into continuous care is so crucial for the seniors, for their psychological or mental health as well.
And if you're a couple, then the fear of them getting separated because one has declined in health versus another person, I think it helps give them a bit of peace of mind that they don't have to be separated. One can then move on to the long-term care side, or memory care, for example, where the other one can still visit, right? Because they're still in the same building, in the same residence.
So when we talk about continuing care out of same facility, a lot of times we are talking about private though, right?
We are talking about private. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of what you guys were talking about, the one that you can buy, is that the same? Because sometimes I understand, especially memory care, they might be in a specific area. So if they buy a certain unit, but eventually they need the memory care part, how does that work in terms of that?
So
transition?
I believe, for example, in some places, there's a certain floor, right, that person would move into. So they would pay for the room that they have on that floor, the memory care, and still live there. So if you owned your place, like a condo, you're still owning your place there, but you can then visit your spouse on the complex care floor. But it's rare though. Like I say, the one that we're involved with right now, it is a continuum of care, and you can own. But like I said, other places you just
Majority
rent.
is for rent.
Yeah, it's for
Majority
rent.
for
Yeah.
rental. Yeah. Okay, that's a rarity. That's for sure. So long-term care, both private and public as well.
Yes.
What's the biggest
Yes.
difference you guys see in those?
Well, for the subsidized, we call it public or subsidized care, there's quite a long wait list for that because there's just not enough beds that have been built over the years. Some people say right now the wait list is 2 to 3 years, right? So it's hard. So it falls to the families then to, if the senior really needs help, to basically be the caregiver, right?
And actually, and when the seniors need long-term cares, one of the caretaker have to be almost full-time. Almost full-time. Right? So
Yeah.
that's challenging for the family to be able to support their own living and also support the seniors living as well. So that's something we are seeing that's getting more and more crucial for us to have that kind of talk with families. That's why we established this. We want to use this platform to tell people that we have to plan
Yeah.
and be able to hopefully shorten that shortage.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think you touched on it earlier that we call it the sandwich generation, right? So it's older adults who are still caring for their parents and then still have not kids, but maybe older kids or adult kids, but they're still trying to juggle that because kids are staying at home longer. So what does that look like? Like you touched on, a multi-generational housing. I'm seeing a lot more demand of people looking for homes that have suites. that their parents can live in. So that seems to be something that's quite popular.
Yeah.
Just for you guys, in terms of private, like your personal preference, as we're looking at sort of like our private system and public system, what would you, how would you plan your future?
Well, with private, there definitely is a cost involved with that. And I think if you want to plan ahead and know what that is, then I would definitely put money aside, or speak to your financial advisor to see how that works. I've actually known people who have sold their home, right? So they have a chunk of money, they've owned the home outright, and then they put that money in with a financial planner who can then say, every month this amount of money will cover the costs of private care. It ranges, right, from 8, 10,000, sometimes 12,000 a month, all inclusive. So they're beautiful. They're like hotels, like they're like all inclusive resorts, but there is a cost to that.
Yeah. So the question is how can our money be able to outlast us? So that's why we definitely will encourage people to start talking with their financial advisor. Of course, when they are getting into like 55 plus, there's some mechanism or some financing be able to help them to prolong that or extend that money, and that's something we can connect the people to.
I think it's definitely, again, going back to why we're doing this, it's to help people have those kind of conversations, to know what they don't know, and then to also start planning ahead. It's so important to be able to do that, I think.
Yeah. We always, if every single episode, doesn't matter
Yeah.
what we talk about, we're like plan and plan ahead, and also learn as much as we can. This is why we're doing this for both the audience, the public, as well as for ourselves. So my final question is, what might be some of the red flags that people should really pay attention to? For example, for themselves or when they see their parents as they're going about their day-to-day in their current living situation, that they really should be aware of, and then so they can start the planning right now.
Do you want to start?
Well, my take is that to pay attention to the seniors. I just heard the podcast earlier today talking about swallowing, because some seniors, when they start getting challenging to swallow or really easy to get caught up by water, that's the start, something you need to be aware about, because that's can cause a health issue or underlying in long term it may be involved in pneumonia. So that's pay attention, be aware what's their body change or their mental change, and when you aware something doesn't look well or doesn't look normal, start asking questions. Start asking questions. Why does that happen? And then seeking help. I think that's the most crucial take I will advise people.
Yeah, I think basically what I hear you saying is swallowing is one sign, but really looking at their overall health and well-being, and how do they seem like it's more effort to do things, right? Whether it's you just getting out of bed or going up the stairs. I think another red flag could be they're not going out as often as they used to. And maybe sometimes that starts with being lack of hearing. So if they're not hearing, right, then they tend to start to isolate themselves. Maybe they don't want to wear a hearing aid, or they think it's too expensive to do that. So they start to isolate. And when they start doing that, I think studies actually have shown that it could lead to possibly like dementia, right?
There's definitely a link between hearing issues as well as dementia, Alzheimer, and things like that.
Yeah. And then falls. Like, what is it now? Like 1 in 3 of those over the age of 65 will fall at least once a year, right? And that's when we start looking at, okay, what does the house look like? What are the danger signs? Are there things that you could do, like putting grab bars or taking out the carpets or whatever that looks like, to prevent falls? Because again, that could be the reason why they go to hospital and never come back home. So it's really important. That's another red flag for me.
right? So if you recognize any of the red flags in your loved ones or in yourself, it's best to start planning right now. Reach out to your local senior real estate specialist, and they can definitely help you and connect you with the right resources and provide you with different options. And I am just really thankful that I get to work with you too. I'm very honored because I can see you guys work and you guys really, really care. And then so I'm very happy to be working with you guys. And I'm really glad that we can have this conversation today, because I know like a lot of people do see that little SRES, but they don't know what it is. So I'm glad that we could actually get into it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm glad we were able to talk about it as well. I think we're both passionate about being there for seniors and their families. And so, yeah, hopefully we can keep providing more information through this podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Carol.
Today's episode was hosted by yours truly, with my co-producers Corina Stainsby and Frank Fu, sharing with us their expertise as senior real estate specialists. Here are your design insights. A senior real estate specialist is more than just a designation on a business card. It's commitment to being a transition consultant. Whether you are a first-time home seller in 40 years or a family member helping a loved one, these specialists are trained to manage the emotional and financial intricacies that standard real estate training just doesn't cover. We also mapped out the housing options available right here in BC, from independence living, which prioritizes social connection and hospitality, to assisted living and long-term care for those with complex medical needs. Understanding these different levels of care now allows you to match your home to your health, rather than letting a crisis dictate where you live. One of the most important takeaway today is learning to spot the red flags. If you notice seniors in your life or yourself having difficulties with stairs, neglecting your garden, or a fridge that isn't being restocked, these are signs that it is time to start the conversation. By auditing your current home environment today, you can decide if aging in place is truly the safest and most joyful option for your future. Moving away from a long-time family home is a major life transition, but you don't have to do it alone. By building a supportive team of specialists and looking at options early, you can stay in the driver's seat of your own journey. Because aging gracefully isn't just a hope, it's a design. If you have any questions or topic suggestions, reach out in the comment section or email us at gracefulagingbydesign@gmail.com. If you found this content useful, please like and subscribe. It'll help us grow and reach more families who need these resources. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.